Welcome to Red V TV's Instant Fan Reaction, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2021 season. As we look back on Saints' 25-0 away victory this evening against Hull KR at the Totally Wicked Stadium, half a mile down the road. Kevin, I'm watching that game and I'm listening to the Sky TV commentary, and they're telling me that that game is ultra competitive. Now, it may just be me on this one, but for it to be a competitive game, you'd have to feel that the result is somehow in doubt. And at no point did I feel that Hull KR were either going to come close to scoring and certainly not cause Saints a difficulty in winning that fixture. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think so, to be honest. That's it. Saints were comfortable in defence, even when it was scrambling defence. I think we were more than comfortable. As you say, that half-time scoreline, if it was 10-6, then I'd probably say you're wrong. It probably puts a couple more nerves into the Saints team. But no, as you say, I think Tony Smith actually alluded to it in his half-time comments that they could be better on the fifth tackle plays. And they weren't. No, to be honest, I think that was, while not overly pleasing on the eye, I don't think the result was in doubt.
Before we go into the game itself, the lineup to begin with, Lachlan Coote misses out once again. Jack Welsby plays at fullback. Josh Sim gets a start in the centre. Joe Batchelor on the bench. And do you know what? We don't seem to skip a beat, do we, with these players in the team?
No, I think that's down to the full Saints coaching team as well, right down to the academy coaches, the age group coaches. Jack Welsby's come in there, and if he was your first choice fullback on that performance, you wouldn't be arguing, would you? It's probably his best performance in a first team Saints shirt. He just looked tremendous. There was a point in the first half where he pushed, it might have been Lomax going for the ball, and he pushed him out of the way from the play of the ball and sent a kick down, like to clear his lines. And you just thought, that's the confidence of the lad there, that he will just do that. And I think he showed a little bit more of his class today. As you say, we're comfortable putting Josh Sim straight in, Joe Batchelor stepping up onto the bench, who I think he did all right, actually, when he came on as well. I think he's one who will be getting more minutes this season. And it's good to see that we can just drop lads in like that and they kind of step up to it.
So Jack Welsby gets man of the match this evening. Best performance probably in a Saints shirt in Super League. We've got Leeds Rhinos next week. Now, given that we've seen, obviously, Lachlan's going to come back potentially. He may be fit to play next week, but he hasn't played for 6 months. After what happened in the Challenge Cup final in 2019, where we looked a little bit undercooked, do you maybe look at it as not being the game for Lachlan Coote to come straight back in, and you just go with the continuity in the cup, where it's a one-off game, we have to win it, just stay with Jack Welsby, who's match fit and playing well?
Oh, that is a massive call. I'm glad Kristian Woolf's got to make that rather than me. I can see the arguments for sticking with Jack Welsby. If you ask me what I'd do, I'd potentially stick with him. But I think with everything that Kristian Woolf said before the game about Lachlan Coote and him pretty much, if this was an important game today, he'd have played. I think we'll go with him. I think Welsby will slip into the left centre position and Coote will be back in.
Did Justin Holbrook not say that exact same comment the week before we played Warrington at Wembley, saying all those players were fit to play at Leeds? And they didn't.
Yeah, well, very true, but this isn't Justin Holbrook, is it?
Right. Good point. Which brings me on to my next point. So, the Justin Holbrook era is officially gone. Whilst last season might have been a little bit of a transition season, this season, now you can see Kristian Woolf has stamped his authority and his influence on this team completely. It has to be said, it is now Wolf ball. It may not be as free-flowing as it was under Justin Holbrook, but we are absolutely ruthless. I think when we got Kristian Woolf in, we said his defence, that's where he would look to improve. We've conceded 1 try in the last 2 games. We look absolutely rock solid defensively. Going forward, we look much fitter. It's not as flashy. You can probably, the steps may be a little bit more structured, but you know what? He relies on the class that we've got in the team to get the job done. And you have to say, at the moment, you look at it, we allow teams maybe to hang in there in the first half, but in the lead. Second half, first 10, 15 minutes, they'll give it a go, and then Saints just accelerate away. Is that the plan?
In the preview show, I said that our fitness and skill levels would be too much for Hull KR. I think going forward, obviously, I want to see us as the season progresses. This is only the second league game. Most of the lads only had half a run out against the league before we brought the young lads in to give them a bit of pre-season action. So I'm just going to kind of pull back from the thought that we're not as flashy going forward. Once things start clicking, I'll make more of a judgment on that. I do know what you're saying with it, but I'll make more of a judgment on that when we're maybe like 8-10 games in and we see combinations starting to click again. And us, obviously, I know it's been okay today, but proper dry, hard tracks that we're really good on and that we can play quick ball. You're right, he has got a certain style and he's brought players in like Parsi and Matautia who are big lads, uncompromising. Joel Thompson as well, solid players. So yeah, as I say, I do get what you're saying. I'm just going to hold off the attacking thing until we get a little bit further into the season, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think obviously the signs we made, Parsi, Thompson, Matautia, all solid players. I'm not saying that we're not going to have attacking flair, but what I mean is I don't think we're going to force it in games and deliberately go looking for it. We've got that natural skill within the side. You've got your Johnny Lomaxes, your Makinsons, your Grace with the pace. Rhyming. Theo Farge is going to duck under tackles. You've got that natural ability in the team where we will score points. There's no need to overplay it like some teams try and do.
Yeah, I think patience is a virtue, isn't it? Whereas like Hull KR were forced to. And it might come to games where if we are behind, if we're having an off day, we've got to try and force it then. But you're right, we're not going to try and force it inside the first 10, 20, 30 minutes of a game. We're going to stick to what we know. Play, as you say, the kind of structured way that we do. And I know people aren't necessarily enamoured with it or think of us as big entertainers under him. But listen, if it's effective, will we all forget that once if we start picking up silverware towards the tail end of the season? Probably.
Listen, I enjoy winning games 25-0.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no complaints about me. At the end of the day, sport, first and foremost, about winning. I think we've had this conversation many times, and I'm still entertained. And I'm entertained when I'm watching my team dominate games and look totally in control. And there's more than just attack. Defence is a massive element. Defence wins championships. And we're showing that once again. The tries we did score, Regan Grace showing good feet to get in. Theo Farge ducking under tackles. Wellesby with his good backup play. He then sets up one of his own to send Grace in himself. Aaron Smith putting his head in where it hurts, getting caught with the knee to score. Different players getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, it's good, and different players impressing as well. Last season we had quite a bit of feedback about Matty Lees, people wanted to see him kick on. I tell you what, his first stint today, he was tremendous. He decided to start playing scrum half at one point. I think he got involved in one attack at 3 different points. But that's the confidence levels. That kind of goes back to what Kristian Woolf is doing there, and that's following on from Justin Holbrook. Obviously, the confidence levels are there. So yeah, it's good to see different players getting on the score sheets and different players also shining within the game, even if they haven't got over the try line.
Score-wise, 10-0 up at half-time. We take the penalty to make it 12-0. For me, really good game management to just knock that drop goal over, make it a free score game. You see it in the NFL all the time, teams managing the scoreboard by making it either 2 scores or 3 score games. It's not really an element that you see in rugby league as often. But for me, good to use the intelligence to just give us that little bit of a cushion on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I was thinking about it as the game went on, and at first I thought, hang on, are we showing him a little bit too much respect? But you're right, when you see it tick over and it makes it a 3-score game, as you say, all of a sudden it makes them have to come at you, and that's where you start finding the gaps and exploiting it, and they start getting a little bit more desperate, and that's obviously when they start giving away penalties. And there was one point where Robert Hicks gave set restart, yellow card, and it just puts them under pressure. As you say, that's not us forcing it as well, that's us just going through the motions, knowing that we are the better team there, the fitter team, the more skillful team, and knowing that if we keep doing what we're doing, it will pay dividends.
Okay, we'll get to the tweets that have come in this evening from the A-Star Recruitment full-time thoughts. If we can bring it up. See, technology, it always works on Red V this season. First of all, before we go any further, here is our fan of the week. We don't know who it is. And she said, hello, Red V, on the fan cam on Sky. So, hello.
Oh.
Make yourself known because you are our fan of the week. Moving on to the tweets. If it works, it will. There we go. Matt, elite defence and periods of elite attack. Middle 40 minutes was alarming, though not necessarily concerning. Would you agree with that? I thought that's just a case of Hull, KR trying to keep themselves in it, and it's just they were being solid for a while, and it takes, and as you say, patience.
Yeah, that's it. It depends what he means by alarming, because then he follows it up with not necessarily concerning. It probably fits in the not concerning bit with the result was never in doubt. I suppose it's one of them that you want to see us free flowing, but again, I go back to second game of the season. Things will start clicking even more as we start going through the season. I don't think it was overly alarming, but obviously people will see different things to me.
Yeah, but then he says doesn't like the fact that teams can stick with us. That's not what the best Saints sides do. So lots to work on. I don't know. I want to see a competitive Super League, so I do want to see. I want to see teams giving us a game. Even obviously, I want to see the result go our way. Saddened, can't imagine we've nilled Hull KR way too many times. Do you know what? It's the shortest trip home I've ever had, Kev.
Yeah, same.
Smudge from Cork in Ireland says Wellesby's an absolute superstar. And Phil Leavesley from his snobby home in Kingston upon Thames in London. Hi, Phil. When you don't get out of second gear, win easy and nil the opposition, you can't really grumble, but I want to because I'm spoiled by success. There speaks a rich man.
Very much
you know
so.
What? He's not as good a guest as his dad.
No, his dad is elite. His dad doesn't wear salmon pink shorts and doesn't swear when after having a couple of beers either. Hiya, Phil.
The Saints, really strong in defence, hard to break down, took our chances well when they came, and really pleased with the start. Lee Durkin thinks there's still a few things to work on in attack, but defence is solid.
Yeah, agree.
TJ probably agreeing with us. If you listen to the commentary, you would think Hull KR were also, and their defence was amazing. We'll take a 25-0 victory. Yeah, Phil Clark's saying at the end, you'd score Saints a 9 out of 10, and you'd score Hull KR a 7 out of 10.
But they didn't score. How can you give them such a high score if they didn't get over the try line?
What makes a 6 out of 10? An own try.
Yeah.
Cepho, defence was cruel and class. Attack will get better and better. Doesn't know where Robes gets the energy from either. Yeah, he's an absolute machine, isn't he?
Yeah.
I was watching Roby tonight, and I'm thinking, could he do another 2 or 3 years?
You know what? Yeah, I think it's when I did the fan previews, the written fan previews, which are on the website. A lot of people said it's a big year for Aaron Smith. Listen, I want to see Aaron Smith pushing for starts. I think he will in time, but he needs to be pushing for starts. But if we manage Roby's game time, I don't think he can do 60, 80 minutes for the next 2 or 3 years. But if he could do 40, why not? I think we could easily get another 2 out of him.
It doesn't look like somebody who's going to potentially retire at the end of the season, for sure.
Fingers crossed not.
Sean Bibby, excellent game management, which is promising, as we discussed, going and taking that drop goal. It's something we lacked last year without Coots. Team looks to be progressing again. Yeah, Sean, he talks about the game management without Coots as well. Tommy Makinson's took to the kicking really well as well.
Yeah, as you know, I mean, he's missed what you would probably call a relatively easy one to make it 12-0. But he's always through the touchline. That's it. He looks really good. He looks like he's confident in doing it. It looks like he wants to do it. So it's good to see. It's good to see that we have got that backup.
I think that's Barry saying needs to do more with the ball in hand, but excellent defence and game management. Didn't get out second gear. Yeah, another one with the second gear comment. Yeah. Quite right. Lloyd Johnson. Am I watching a different game to everyone else? I thought Hull KR were awful and Saints did a professional job and kept them at arm's length. No, you sound like you watched the same game as I did. I thought they were solid and they kept us at bay, but it reminds me of San Marino putting 10 men behind the ball and trying to keep England out for 25 minutes.
Yeah, I think as they're a spirited team and they'll pick up points from the others around them. If they go with that application, they'll pick up enough points and they won't be in any trouble. But there's a difference between playing the teams who are going to be in and around you scrapping for points and almost having a free hit against the likes of Saints. And if you are going to have a free hit, you've got to be a little bit more adventurous. And when it comes to your last tackle plays, you've got to be 100% on them all night. And they weren't.
Kev Woodward, all about the wins at this point in the season, but the defence is excellent. 1 try in 2 weeks is so awesome. The Saints and Lee Dakin, I feel like I'm having deja vu because we've just read them out. David Rigby, quite rightly saying, let's hope Mossy has been the biggest beneficiary tonight. Really glad to see him back in the ground. Watching his number 1 side beat his number 2. Our good Scottish friend Peter Elder, strong second half, kept up the defensive intensity, keeping anybody to nil as an achievement. We're very happy with the victory. Team effort, with special shout out to Wellesby, Lees and Grace. Good to see all the young lads getting the plaudits. Phil Ovian saying he can't complain, but 2 little weaknesses. The short ground kicking game near the opposition line is poor without Coots. Yeah, I don't think it was fantastic tonight. It certainly wasn't as good as last week. And we lack a bit of guile to unlock tight defences in the opposition 20. And some of that's the kick. We over-rely on the ball out to full-back to the wing. You can see us, but maybe it's because we're getting so much success out of it that we keep trying it.
Yeah, that's it. As I say, you keep patient with what you know works. And that's it. I think, as we've said in the past about the kicking game, when we're winning, it's fine because it's percentage play. You're putting it up in the air, giving your wingers chance to challenge for it, and you're just putting it literally in a little zone, aren't you? Obviously, you'd like to see a little bit of a change every so often, but if it works and you win 25-0, can you complain about it too much? And
from the Facebook, Damien Jones and Stuart Ross saying strong defensive efforts tonight. Outstanding.
Correct.
Yeah. And I think that's what tonight's result was built on, defence.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be weird about being on a train to Wigan at 8 a.m. on a Good Friday morning, Kev.
I know, it is, isn't it? What a shame. What a shame. Hopefully next year we can get amongst it again as usual.
Spread goodwill to our good Wigan friends over this Easter period. We do miss going over there, don't we?
Well, we miss going over there. I'm not sure we miss them.
No, right. I think we miss going over, showing how the better half live.
Yeah. Okay. Very true. Yeah.
Do you know what? I think this was a class media effort tonight.
I think it was a class media effort, considering this is not a full-time thing. I think we've done well.
Not bad.
Don't think we've upset anybody.
Not bad for a couple of hobbyists at 11 o'clock on a Thursday evening.
Yeah, exactly.
After a few tins.
Oh, I'm on the tough stuff here.
I'm on all these efforts tonight. They're little craft cans. They're all right, actually.
Oh, they are right. I'll be on the Rhinebacker next.
Dave at redv.net if you'd like to do some sort of sponsorship. But you'll have to wait for A-Star Recruitment to give way because they are our top sponsors. And you can see the A-Star Job of the Week out on Easter Monday. It's a cracker this week coming up. I've been sent it today, ready to go. Be there or be square. That's not really good saying that, is it? But anyway, there we go.
It was going dull until you cracked the catchphrases out.
It was going oh so well, wasn't it? There we go. No Easter Monday game either, Kev.
Okay, it's you know what? It's usually a bit of a drop off when you have maybe not even the Easter Monday game. It's the week after when it is drab and it's a little bit of a grind and it's a little bit of a dirge. You know what? I'd have loved Super League to have been brave and bold and kind of had a week off when England were playing to give the majority of squads a little bit of a rest. But so be it. We're going to play that weekend, aren't we? Probably miss out on a couple of our star players.
Would they not have been better playing on Easter Monday? And then
possibly
England weekend off?
Probably, yeah. But again, you've got to look at player welfare, haven't you?
So player welfare counts this season because it didn't in 2020, did it? When they were backing up all over the show.
Well, they'll probably. I don't know what the fixture list is like because they keep on having to announce games in 3-game spells at the moment, don't they? So, be interesting to see how it goes once we get into the season.
We'll see. Hopefully, another 6 weeks and we'll all be back in the ground. And we'll be doing this outside and reacquainting with people once again. Kev, thanks for joining us. We will catch you next week for another preview show. Hopefully, we might get a couple of things lined up as well, which people will enjoy watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you next week for another episode of Red V TV. Catch you soon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Got it in there.